The Brotherhood of Baseball. Let's step into the On Deck circle.
You're listening to the DFS On Deck podcast, brought to you by LineStar App, the top-rated DFS tool set and #1 companion for DraftKings, Fanduel, and Yahoo Daily Fantasy. Go LineStar Premium now at LineStarApp.com. Now, here are your hosts, fantasy baseball experts Joe Pisapia and KC Bubba.
Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? It's me, Joey P, Joe Pisapia, and welcome to On Deck right here on the LineStar app. It is me, it is Casey Bubba, and it's you, and we're talking all things MLB DFS right here, courtesy of the LineStar app, and we want to remind everybody, go to LineStarApp.com, download the LineStar app, upgrade to the premium product, and then start using it and helping you win cash, because that's a good thing. That's what we want to do here. We want to win some money, and it's been a pretty good week here at the program. We had Lucas Giolito as pretty much the only play the other night, and he went out there and threw a no-hitter, so that was pretty good. We've had some really good bats here. Bubba has absolutely nailed and been crushing. And Bubba, yesterday was, I think, quintessential 2020. We had more moments and more it's difficult because you sit here and you're trying to do like a DFS sports show, and you can't ignore the world going around you because it affects what's going on, and it should affect you personally as well on many levels. And I know it affected me, and I thought that, when you watch the obviously, for those of you who don't know, we're living in the bubble. A lot of the games were canceled yesterday. A lot of the players did not feel like it was appropriate to play under the circumstances of what was going on, and I think you saw some of the Brotherhood of Baseball show up there. You had Mookie Betts come into the locker room and not want to play. And Clayton Kershaw, who was the starter in last night that we were all into, said, "I got your back, brother." And that's good. And that's what we need in this country, a little bit more of. Can we get a little bit more of that? Like, I got your back. I understand you. And that would be a really good start. And I think it's sad in a way that we have to look to our athletes for that. And I know Charles Barkley said athletes aren't role models, but you know what? Last night, I think Mookie Betts, Clayton Kershaw, Dominic Smith, Doc Rivers, there were a lot of role models out there in sports, Bubba.
I 100% agree. And that's the thing with sports. Like another guy, Weber, there was a lot of really great things that were said that should have hit home for a lot of people, because you mentioned the Brotherhood of Baseball, and you played sports, I played sports.
Yep.
One thing that I know I've emphasized many times, and I'm pretty sure you'll agree with, the beauty of sports is it like forms a family, a brotherhood, and you stick together. And there's something that's different than just, walking down the street and saying hi to a friend. Like, it's you go through battle with these guys. Yeah. So to watch them stand up with each other, it was a very, very awesome thing to see. It's sad it's come to this, as you said, that it requires our athletes to do it. But if that's what it takes to see something happen, that's great. So we might see more of this coming forward. I believe it's Friday's Jackie Robinson Day. So let's see what happens there. There's going to be, I imagine, some interesting things done that day. So it's going to be a wild ride, but it's hopefully going to end in a very good result.
Yeah, I didn't even realize the Jackie Robinson thing coming up to you. I mean, geez.
They moved it because of the schedule change. They moved it to this Friday.
Yeah, and it's it's crazy to think about, like, all the progress that's been made, and yet all of the progress that's still ahead. It's mind-blowing. It's mind-blowing. And look, I understand. Look, this is not a political show, it's a DFS show. But yes, it's impacting the world you're playing in right now. It is life. And if you are going to try to play DFS tonight, you have to understand that you are going to have to be careful, and you're going to have to make sure you're following things up to the minute. We talked earlier that FanDuel, if you had certain things go wrong last night, they refunded money, which is tremendous. I think that's the right thing as a company. DK did not do that. I think that kind of sucks under the circumstance of what's going on. I don't think that was a good move. It's a very 2020 move. I don't think it's a good business move. So good job by FanDuel. Give credit where credit is due there. That was a good move by them. Again, it was certain circumstances in which that happened. I don't think it was across the board. Was it, Bubba? I'm not exactly sure yet.
No, and I'm still trying to figure it out. I'm getting emails from people and messages from people. It feels like on FanDuel, if you had players on your roster and they basically they didn't play their game, like if you had a Dodger or something like that, you should have got your money back. DraftKings didn't care. We tried to get them to let us withdraw entries before lock. If your contest was full, they didn't let you. They just didn't care at all. So be aware of that and stay close to the news, as Joe said, because this morning when I woke up, we had a 7-game slate on DraftKings. because they had the Giants' first game of doubleheader within 45 minutes. That's off the slate. It's still on the player grid, but they're saying they're not going to get points, so be careful. And there might be more moving parts throughout the day, so just be very, very careful.
Moving parts is definitely the hashtag of this show today.
Yes.
And look, man, it's for the most part been really good here. I mean, we've had I appreciate all the folks out there who have been listening, and we see the numbers. We know you're listening, and we appreciate you. And we also appreciate the screenshots and all the discussions we're having offline with you. And we hope that you're continuing to take this journey with us. And I want to remind everybody too, that journey is going to become football too in just a few weeks, because Scott Bogman and I are going to take over and start doing the football show. So Bubba and I will still be doing baseball. We'll be doing that through September. And then obviously first week of September, we're going to be rock and rolling to NFL too. So check out the pre-snap podcast also. So you can go subscribe to that as well. That's again, same thing with LineStar App, the pre-snap podcast with myself and Scott Bogman. That's going to be starting in September covering NFL. So let's put that aside. Let's talk about yesterday's games and what we saw. We also saw Jose Abreu yesterday continue to just be awesome. 4 home runs for the White Sox. Dallas Keuchel gets the W. 10-3 victory over the Pirates. No surprise there. What was a surprise, Ian Anderson, look at him, dazzling in the debut, breaks the Cole win streak. What was that? Was that 20 games in a row or something absurd like that? What was it?
Something crazy like that. But yeah, Cole got his win streak snapped, and he gave up some absolute bombs. Acuna's back. I was going to say Acuna's back.
Yeah. Acuna, that Acuna bomb was like, geez, you know, and good for him. And look, Garrett Cole, I love all the people who are like, well, Garrett Cole, what a waste of a first-round pick. What are you, stupid? Like, what are you I had one bad game here. We gave up a couple dingers. I mean, geez, his ERA's at 3.5. I'm sure by the end of the year, it'll be around 3 or under anyway. I mean, come on. Let's grow up here, people. But let's see if Ian Anderson can keep this going. The Braves are a team, as they get healthy here with Albies and obviously with Acuna and some pitching here from Ian Anderson, this is a team that really needs a good second half, Bubba, to go into the playoffs with some momentum. Would you agree?
Most definitely. And it revolves around the health, as you mentioned, especially the health of the pitching staff. And I've actually seen rumors that they might be in the Taijuan Walker, Kyle Seager market, which would be huge for them. That would fill 2 massive holes. And if they can do something like that, then they can come right back near the top of that NL East discussion, which they've kind of fallen a little bit with these injuries. So that'd be interesting to watch them.
All right, Nola bounces back, so he goes to 3-2 now on the year, and the Phillies beat the Nationals 3-2. So good job by Aaron Nola after a short outing last time out, 7 strong innings this time around. Buffalo Blue Jays continue to score runs. I'm pissed, man, because I had Red Sox side of this game. It did not work out, bro. Like Devers was cheap. I had him. I had Verdugo. I was like, all right, like everyone's going to be on the Blue Jays. I'm going to be on the Red Sox. And you know what? I should have been on the Blue Jays. Rowdy Tellez drove in 4 runs. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. sighting. How about that? Look, maybe the Blue Jays can get everybody going at once.
Yep, Vladdy's on a 9-game hitting streak, and he's only striking out 13% of the time. Like, I took a deep dive on him, and what he's doing now, watch out, folks. He's just another guy on the Blue Jays hitting the ball hard. It's going to be fun.
Spoiler, I've got him in my lineups today already.
Yes, he's a lock for, like, cash, and if you want, he's a big play today.
100%. Perez homers in the 8th, and there you go. That's all that needs to be said there. And the Rays beat the Orioles 4-3. Rays at the top of that division now go to 21-11. We also have Freddy Freeman's 2-run home run to sweep the Yankees in the other side of the doubleheader. So 2-1 there. Max Fried gets the W. He goes to 5-0, perfect on the year. Said it coming into the year. Said it in the black book. Put it in print. Max Fried. Every year everyone asks, like, who's the next guy? 2 years ago we had Garrett Cole. Spore and I put that together. Then, we had Luis Castillo last year, and I can't remember who the other one. We had Lucas Giolito was the other one, and then this year it was Max Fried. We're on a tear right now. If you're not getting the black book every year and finding out who that next pitcher is, then, you're missing out, because Fried is definitely that guy. The Indians 6-3 over the Twinkies here. Clevenger came back, and he was effective, and we took the other side of it. Didn't work. That's okay. I think the logic behind it was good. We'll take the hits, we'll take the runs, we'll take the errors, and yesterday was an error on Clevenger. Nico Goodrum hit a 2-run double, and the Tigers beat the Cubs 7-6. The Mets blew a Jacob deGrom lead. Have you heard that before? Have you ever heard that?
I saw someone tweet last night, and I know you'd appreciate this. Jacob deGrom will throw a no-hitter this year and still lose the game.
Yeah, very Andy Hawkins-esque, that's for sure. Yes. But the Mets did win 5-4. I mean, I can't. I just can't even. The DeGrom started. We had 14 strikeouts last night.
He was filthy. He was outstanding.
God. All right. Mike Fiers got the win. So did the A's 3-1. You also had, was it Alex Reyes got the W here in this one with the Cardinals. You know, Reyes is starting to pitch better, by the way, too. It'd be great to see that next year kind of finally come to fruition. We did get the runs finally. We were looking for the Rockies Diamondback game. 15 runs there. Robbie Ray got the loss. No kidding. Charlie Blackmon hit a grand slam. But Bubba, we finally got our runs in that Diamondbacks Rockies game. Oh, geez. What a frustrating week that's been up until now.
Oh yeah, it was and it took until like the 8th inning when the bullpens imploded. It was like a 3-1 game.
I know, and that's the misery of it. It's like the misery of it that you still had to wait for it. It just, it's so frustrating. Anyway, that was yesterday. It's a new day. Yes, it is. And let's try our best, and I mean our best, to break down the slate today on Thursday. And it starts with Dinelson Lamet and Yusei Kikuchi of the Mariners, supposedly at 310. We'll see if that happens. I think everything we say is supposedly it will happen, and that's all you can do right now. Chad Kuhl and Kwang Young Kim will square off in the 315 game. You also then have, gosh, this is so weird the way it's all set up here. I'm trying to look at it all. And then apparently you're going to have Walker Buehler and the Giants. But that doesn't make much sense. Is Walker Buehler starting the first game, or is Kershaw, or what the hell going on?
I saw Kershaw Gossman the first game, Buehler Webb the second game. Maybe they flip-flop it, but those are your two matchups today.
Yeah, I had seen Walker Buehler already, too, in the second, and now we got one showing.
That's what I'm saying. It's moving parts, Joe.
Yeah, a lot of movement. Here we go. So let's attack it. If Walker Buehler is the early one, it's a no-brainer to me. I'm actually going to take the shot here against the Giants. Even though the Giants have been good, a lot of emotions going on, I will take Walker Buehler in this isolated slate because I think there's enough people that will look at Lamet as a pivot and take him instead. And I think that actually, it's time to start putting some faith quarters into Walker Buehler and see what comes out. And hopefully we're going to get some points there. That's my take. Are you somebody who would prefer to go with Lamet here on the other side?
No, I go Buehler as well. We finally saw him get extended his last time out, throwing strikes, getting strikeouts. So I'm on board now. He finally, like we talked about Glass now the other day, we saw him get extended finally. Once these pitchers hit where we expect them to be, then I'm back on board. I'm back on Buehler.
All right. And speaking of back on, let's continue on. If Paul Goldschmidt is on this slate, again, that guy's been absolutely raking. You go with Paul Goldschmidt. Cody Bellinger's been red hot. If you want to pay up for him, you want to look for value. In terms of value, you might actually find some in that Seattle Mariners lineup we keep talking about. We keep talking about Kyle Seager, Kyle Lewis, all the Kyles, Haggerty, we pointed out yesterday, Austin Nola. That's probably where you're going to find some value to go pay up for a big pitcher, go pay up for big bats. If Kim is the starter in the 3:00 game there, then there's some appeal there against the Pirates for me, but not enough to really go crazy about because I'm just, that's just where I am. I'm just trying to keep it real here. Like, just don't overthink the day slate if you're going to get involved in it, and be very careful. I think that's where the value is. Do you find any value in the Pittsburgh lineup too against Kim, by any chance?
Not really. No, the Pittsburgh lineup is so sketchy, so probably not.
All right. I'm not even going to discuss the Brewers game, the Reds, because I don't think it's at 5:00. It's in no man's land. I can't imagine this playing. So
they're scheduled for a doubleheader today too, so it's going to get in. I don't know what they're going to do. Baseball can't afford to lose games, but at the same time, they're doing it for the right reasons. It's tricky, very tricky.
Well, it's hard because you're losing games because of COVID. Now you're losing games because of protest. I mean, it's just
that was my quote this morning. I said we thought we were losing 2020 to COVID. We might lose it to racism.
You know what? You're not wrong, my friend. Kyle Freeland, who has pitched much better. Let's start with the 6:00 games against Zach Gallen. Now, Gallen, I'll throw out there against anybody now. He's earned that. Do you know how many wins Zach Gallen has on the year, Bubba?
I'm guessing you're going to say like 2.
I think he got 0.
Yeah, I was trying to give the benefit of the doubt. He should have like 4 because he's pitching that good. But then that's the Arizona run support there. It's almost Mets-esque.
Oh God, yeah. He's got 0. He's got 6 starts. Check this out: 6 starts, no wins, 36 innings pitched. He's got 42 strikeouts, 12 walks.
Pretty good.
2.25 ERA and a 1.06 WHIP, and he's got 0 wins to show for it. 0 for Zach Gallen. So he gets a W today. I'm calling it. I'm calling the Zach Gallen W. I'm feeling good about it. I understand Colorado's a really good lineup, but I said this last week. I said Gallen's start last week put me into a different universe with him where I'm like, okay, I don't care who it is, where it is, whatever it is. That dude is in my lineup as long as it's reasonable. When the price comes out here, if he's in that slate, is reasonable, go do it. Let's get to the next one here. Anything else here for you to add on this one? I don't want to take this away from you, this opportunity to pile in with the Zach Gallen with me. If you want to come on board with me, you want to get in the car?
I'm in the car. Freed and Gallen are my two guys to start the year, so I'll be back with Gallen tonight.
Oh, yeah, Gallen's been terrific. He really has. I mean, just 0 win. And I saw that yesterday. I said, that can't be right. And I looked and I was like, oh my God, it is right. And I fooled you, didn't I? You would assume like, okay, 1 or 2. Nope, 0.
I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
And then the funny part is, even though I saw it, I had to just go check it again just now because I'm like, can it be right? Yes, it is right. It's totally right. 0. Unbelievable. All right, let's continue on here. Spencer Howard at 5.9 on FanDuel taking on Max Scherzer at 10.6. So, look, boys and girls, it's Max Scherzer. It's easy. Don't overthink it. He's 10.9 on DK. He's 10.6 on FanDuel. Lock up your Max Scherzer. Put him in there. It's cash. You could probably play it in GPP also because of the upside. And I would get in on these bats too. I mean, I know Juan Soto's 4.5 over on FanDuel, but you've got Kendrick at 2.9. You got Kurt Suzuki as a nice little bat at 2K sometimes who pops up there, has good games. Victor Robles at the bottom of this order is cheap. So you've got some guys there you can work with. Asdrubal Cabrera is 3K in front of Juan Soto. And look, Spencer Howard's a good young talent, but Spencer Howard hasn't shown enough that I'm afraid of him at all. So give me the Nats tonight, give me Scherzer, and I think I'm going to try to keep it simple on this short slate that is very, very volatile.
Yeah, you can go with Scherzer. There's a couple other guys I like as pivots if you want to save some money because there's a lot of bats I want on this slate. So I don't mind Scherzer, but Soto is a bat I really, really want on this slate. What he's doing is ridiculous. And the biggest thing on Howard, like you said, good arm, hasn't proven it. He hasn't gotten through 4 innings his last 2 starts, hasn't gotten through 5 in any of his 3. Which means one thing, Joe. Philadelphia's bullpen comes into play, which is horrific. So give me Juan
Brandon
Soto,
Workman now, Bubba. But what about Brandon Workman?
He's going to get worked, man. So give me and Luis Garcia value, 26 on FanDuel, 25 on DraftKings.
Yeah, good. I'm good with that one. Jeez. Oh, the Phillies bullpen. yes, all the Phillies bullpen. Get in on those Nats tonight. Just do it. Chris Bassett has some appeal here for me tonight against the Rangers. He's been pretty well this year. He's just 7.8K over on FanDuel. On DK, he's 8.6, a reasonable secondary arm. He's going against Jordan Lyles. Simeon continues. The Simeon stock is rising a little. It went from 2.8 to 3 now. Grossman, if he's hitting that 2 slot now behind Simeon at 3.2. Kana at 3.1. Once again, the A's, no matter what time they are now, they are a value. Over on DK, very different. Simeon's all the way up at 5.1, but Grossman's just 4.1. Kana's 4.8. Piscotty's 3.5. I've been rolling with these kind of guys. So is Bubba. I think the A's are appealing tonight against Texas, who we keep saying is very inconsistent. But you did point out Danny Santana yesterday, cheap again on DK today, 3.6. That's a guy that, towards the top of this order who could get some points as well. But what are your thoughts on Bassett here in the A's? Because Bassett has been kind of very under the radar, just good enough. Not earth-shattering good, but secondary pitcher good.
And that's the big thing. He's not earth-shattering, but he brings a solid floor to the action. Like on DraftKings, at least 14 points in pretty much every start, which makes him cash viable with a little bit of upside as an SP2 for sure. FanDuel 78 is intriguing. I think there's a different pivot I'll make on FanDuel as a one-pitcher site, but as an SP2, I'm there for it. And then you mentioned Grossman and Piscotty would be my 2 top kind of value-esque type A's plays, but they're definitely in play tonight because Lyles has not been there at all this year.
No. All right, let's go to Buffalo for the Blue Jays, the Toronto Blue Jays, who play in Buffalo, but I call them the Buffalo Blue Jays. Yeah, stack them up against Chris Mazza. Oh, boy.
Yeah, he's going to wish he was a Maserati and got out of town.
Well, Ryu is 9.1 in this game on FanDuel, and I'm fine with that. If you want to save $1,000 and get in on this game, he's 9.7 on DK. I'm good. Ryu's been terrific, and he's pitched okay in this ballpark, too. Again, the first start or two, not great. But then Ryu's been on a roll, and I mean, just keep rolling out there. Vlad Guerrero, Teoscar Hernandez, Grichuk, Biggio. You can play all these guys. Biggio at 3.9, Grichuk at 3.3, Teoscar Hernandez 3.6. Vlad is just 3.2. I think is a great value today if he's starting to turn things around a little bit. So I'm just looking for the Blue Jays today in Ryu. I think this is you talking about win equity. This might be the best win equity on the board today.
100%. The value on FanDuel is nice. They're actually very affordable on DraftKings too. 4K for Gurriel, 39 for Grichuk, 42 I believe for Teoscar. Vlad's cheap, but Ryu I think is the pivot I want to make off Scherzer if I want to be different. You mentioned he's been very good his last 4 starts, only getting barreled 2% and a 20% hard hit rate. So he's getting it done against some decent talent. I have no problem going Ryu against the Red Sox lineup outside of like Devers, Bogarts, and maybe JD right now. Really doesn't scare you a ton. So I have no problem going Ryu.
No, I'm. You know what? Maybe it's just yesterday. I'm still a little tread from what should have been some more Red Sox runs yesterday. Maybe will happen today. Maybe that's the oppo play today.
Yeah.
Maybe it is going for the Red Sox side of this game and fading Ryu if you want to be different. I think it's a responsible difference because of the ballpark. I actually think, despite all that, you look at the talent, you look at the ballpark factor, all that does make sense. However, I'm going to go on the other side. I'm going to go with the Blue Jays. They convinced me yesterday. I learned my lesson the hard way. John Means taking on Ryan Yarborough in this one in Tampa. Tampa's been very good. Brandon Lau is 3.7. I think that's a guy you could put in every day and just kind of set him and forget him in a lot of lineups. Santander's 3.8. Nunez, a nice value at 3K. What are your thoughts on Ryan Mountcastle at 2.6 in this game?
He's a good value. I'll give him that much. Not a main target for mine. I do like the upside there. The power is legit. Yarborough can get hit around. So he's a good value, but I think the main value lies on the Rays side of things. You got Adames for 29. He's 39 on DK. They've been hitting him in the middle of the order versus lefties. You got Hunter Renfroe. He's 38 on DK, 29 on FanDuel. Yandy Diaz is cheap. But the one I really want to highlight, well, you got Brosu at 25 on FanDuel. He's expensive on DraftKings. But the one I do want to highlight is Manny Margot is only 31 on DraftKings. And I actually have to like search his name on FanDuel because he's $2,400 and he is on fire right now.
Oh, there you go. Circle it up, baby. What's his FanDuel price too?
2,400. 2,400.
Also good. That is a nice number right there. That's a spicy meatball. Let me tell you, Manny Margot 2.4. Sixto Sanchez against the Mets tonight. Do we have a price on this yet? Because
he's 51. He's 51 on DraftKings, 66 on FanDuel.
Wow. I don't know, for the 51 against
SP2, I'm in.
Yeah, I think I was going to say 51. I mean, geez, you can get 10 Juan Sotos for that.
You can put Sixto with Ryu or Scherzer and have everything you want.
Yeah, I think, you know what? Tonight, that's not a terrible way to go. That Mets offense is not something you can hang your hat on. I'm sorry. It's just not. So Sixto can go out there, and I think he can return value on that. I think people will look at Dobnak tonight against Matthew Boyd. And they'll also consider a little bit of like, well, Dobnak's getting wins, and he is, but he doesn't have a lot of strikeout upside. I think I'd almost rather have the Sixto strikeouts and take my chances there. What do you think about that? Is that crazy or no? No. We lost our minds already in August?
No, I'm a big Sixto fan. Even in his first start, he gave up like 4 runs, 2 homers, but he has the strikeout upside. He still got you like 13, 14 points at $5,100. Sign me up for that right now. It's a solo shot. Yeah, so like you're in for that. I'm all over that with the Mets. They might get him a little bit, but he'll go 5 or 6. He'll be productive. I'll save my takes on Dobnak when we get to that game, but I do like Sixto quite a bit.
Well, guess what? It's that time. Let's get to Dobnak. Okay. I will tell you want to talk about getting everything you want. I want Nelson Cruz today because Matthew Boyd is on the mound. I want Miguel Sano because Matthew Boyd is on the mound. I want Max Kepler. I want them all. I want every twin you could possibly get today. And boy, the Twins could really use Josh Donaldson back. I know we talked about it yesterday too. Like let's get Josh Donaldson back in this lineup, please. I mean, it is a great lineup, but still, it's funny. Like they just haven't been the same as they were those first 2 weeks where he was there. But look, Matthew Boyd, until he shows otherwise, forget it. I do like Jonathan Scope though, at 3.1, still a good return. Nico at 2.8 is always a good investment on FanDuel. So let's take your version of this game here. Where do you think these things are going? And talk about having to find value. Nelson Cruz is 5.7 over on DraftKings in this game. I mean, that's pushing that Mike Trout territory, which is crazy. But again, against Matthew Boyd, how could you say no?
Yeah, Boyd gives up a ton of home runs. We know Cruz versus lefty. So no, you want the Twins. Like the Jays and the Twins is where you kind of want to focus tonight. That's the easy way to go, but it makes too much sense. But I do want to mention something. You mentioned the Red Sox as the contrarian way, and I get that. I agree with that. The Tigers are one as well, especially for value. I kind of liked him as value last night.
The way Dobnak pitches, like the way he keeps the ball down.
But that's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. Not striking guys out. The ball's in play a lot, and he's getting very, very like BABIP regression's coming. A 225 BABIP. If you watch his starts, there's guys on base all the time. He gets this like double play ball, all these things. The big inning's coming eventually. It might not be tonight. I don't mind trying it tonight, but I'm going to keep attacking Dobnak because it is coming in a bad way. He has like a 1.8 ERA, but a 4 xFIP and a 4 FIP. It's coming for him one of these days, and that'll be a great GPP contrarian stack.
Well, just like we said the other day, on a Friday last week, we said it was coming for John Lester, and it came hard.
Yep.
We saw that happen. Candelario's another guy's been swinging a good bat in this lineup too, and on DK, he's just 3.5. So
yeah, Victor Reyes leading off is cheap too.
2.9, yeah, for him.
Yep.
So there's some pieces there. I like where your head's at there. There are two. So you got the Tigers and the Red Sox for contrarian plays. You got Sixto as a really nice cheap secondary arm tonight. Ryu and Scherzer. It's a limited slate. It's a smaller slate, but it's one that, in some ways, it feels like more like a Saturday night, right?
Yes.
Where you're looking, have like a half a dozen games to choose from, so you kind of just target things, get in there, get out, don't overthink stuff. And I think that is the best thing to do today. And along with that, our advice to you: make sure that you're paying attention to everything. And if you're not going to have the time to do it, then don't put in lineups. If you're going to put in lineups today, make sure you are looking forward to who's in, who's out, who's playing, who's not, and what teams are going to play and not, because it's a very complicated thing out there. What is not complicated is calling home runs. Well, maybe it is. And it's that time again, boys and girls. It's time to call our shot. So if you go follow us over at LineStar App on Twitter, you can get involved in the home run contest. Bubba and I are each going to pick one guy to go yard tonight. And when we do, hopefully you're involved with it as well, and you can win some swag. So you pick a guy along with us, retweet this segment over on Twitter at LineStar App, and you can win some free stuff. So, Bubba, why don't you go first today? Who are you going to call your shot? I think I have an idea who it is, so I have my secondary one ready.
Yeah, I'm torn because there's a few guys like I absolutely love, and it's been weird because I've been missing out on the guys I don't pick every night. It's been really frustrating. But I'm going to go to him. I'm going to Vlad Guerrero Jr.
That was my two.
Tonight. Yeah, I know who your one is, and I like him a lot too. Like, you haven't even told me, but I know who it is. He likes to grab his crotch when he sees a pitch, I'm guessing.
Well, actually, he's on there. He's on there too. He was 3, but it's Nelson Cruz tonight for me.
Yes, that's a good one too.
It's Nelson Cruz against Matthew Boyd. I'm sorry, the lefty Matthew Boyd giving up so many home runs. Nelson Cruz so damn good. I'll pay for it everywhere. But yeah, Juan Soto ain't bad either.
Yeah, that's what, there's like 6 guys I can easily see.
But officially, I'm going to go with Nelly tonight. You're going to go with Vladdy, and that's good. That again, once again, we're kind of on the same page with this, and this is why we never share them with each other ahead of time, because we always like the surprise factor in this. So go over there on Twitter, get involved, give us your home run call. Let's see if you get it right. Win some free stuff. Everybody likes free stuff. Free stuff is awesome because it's free and it's stuff. Those are 2 great words. In the meantime, you can also follow us on Twitter at LineStar MLB. You can follow us at KC Bubba and at Joe Pisapia 17. And remind you guys, go get that LineStar app and upgrade to the premium product. And also go subscribe right now. Stop what you're doing right now. Go subscribe to the Pre-Snap podcast, courtesy of the LineStar app. You can search it. It's going to pop up right away. It's on iTunes, iHeart, iThis, iThat, iStitcher, iGoogle, iEverything. Go get it. And that way, when the football shows are going to start to drop next week with Bogman and myself. So stay tuned. We got baseball. We got football. We will have sports. It's going to be a weird 2020. I think we've already realized that. We're almost home. This is going to be the greatest New Year's ever, Bubba. I'm telling you right now. This is going to be the greatest. There's going to be so much joy to see 2020 go away. I feel like, we've been through a lot. But we're here for you every day breaking down this slate. So that'll do it for me and Bubba. But the story of the game goes on. There's nothing left to do now except step out of the on-deck circle and into the batter's box and go yard. We'll see you next time, kids.
You've been listening to the DFS On Deck podcast, brought to you by LineStar. Hit subscribe, tell a friend, and stay tuned for the next episode from fantasy baseball experts Joe Pisapia and KC Bubba.